What's good, y'all? It's your boy, Will Powers, back in the house with another live stream. And the topic of this week's live stream is how to stop negative self-talk and take ownership of your mind, as well as how to apply positive thinking when you approach women. All right. So the first half is going to be about purely self-development, personal development, in terms of how to actually end negative self-talk and really own your thoughts to be able to not be driven by them unconsciously. Okay. So we're going to get pretty into depth into that. I'm going to give you some actual tools and techniques that you can use to really change negative thoughts into positive thoughts and really own your thought process so that you can make choices and actions based on positive thoughts and change your self-image and self-perception. And then the second part we're going to get into is how you apply this stuff when you're out in the field actually approaching girls. All right, so let's get cracking into it. So the first step to really stop negative self-talk is to acknowledge the thoughts. That's the very first step. You have to acknowledge the negative thoughts. So let's say maybe you're thinking a negative thought about yourself or something that you're up against. Maybe you're thinking, I can't do this, right? So, or why am I so stupid? Or, oh, I'm such an idiot, or I'm, whatever negative thought you might have that's basically just framing yourself in a negative light when you're talking to yourself in your own mind, right? That's perpetuating your lack of confidence, your self-doubt, your negative self-perception, self-image, okay? So imagine you're having some sort of negative thought and negative talk, self-talk going on in your brain. The first step is to acknowledge it in that moment and realize that that's what's happening in that moment, that you're engaging in negative self-talk. You can't go any further if you don't do this first step. So it's all about awareness. So have that awareness to acknowledge that you are engaging in negative self-talk. Then the next step, once you've acknowledged that and brought that into your conscious awareness, is to stop in that moment. So actually stop, take a pause, realize, oh, okay, I'm talking negatively to myself, right? And then once you stop, then you can replace that negative thought with a positive thought. So an example, let's say there's something you're kind of worried about that you're up against and you're like, oh, I don't know, I can't do this. I'm afraid of this or whatever. It's as simple, it really is as simple as saying to yourself, instead of I can't do this, I can do this, right? But you have to stop this thought in its tracks and turn it around. Or you say like, oh my God, like this is so hard. I feel so stressed. I don't know what I'm going to do. You change that thought into, okay, this is easy. I got this. I don't know right now what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be proactive and figure it out. I know that I'm able to figure this shit out, right? So again, you can't let your unconscious mind drive you unconsciously with these negative thoughts. You have to pull them into your conscious awareness, acknowledge them, stop them in their tracks, and then replace them with a positive thought. So that's the steps. Acknowledge, pause, and then replace, right? And the more you do this, the better you'll get at it. The more you practice actually stopping your thoughts in their tracks. So you acknowledge the negative self-talk, you pause, and then you replace that negative thought with a positive thought. What's good, Johan? So the way this works, as I said, it's basically as simple as bringing it into your awareness, then stepping back. Once you have that awareness, you create some space between you and the thought. You are not your thoughts, right? Or your emotions. And that's another piece of this. But you step back from the thought and then you replace the thought, right? So you take your power back. You become empowered in that thought process instead of giving your power away and saying like, oh, this is so hard, I can't do this. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if, I have what it takes. You simply say, I can do this. I am good enough, and I do have what it takes. I may not have all the tools right now. I may not know exactly what to do, but I know that I have the ability to figure it out. I know I can do this, right? Just simply saying that to yourself is going to completely change your mindset and your behavior, because your actions are based on your thoughts, right? And that's all based on your beliefs and the unconscious emotions that are driving you too. So the other piece of this that's really important is to also name the feelings. So if you're saying to yourself, if you're just feeling kind of like maybe you're feeling depressed or stressed or something like that, or sad or tired, if you don't actually acknowledge that feeling, it's going to run you from an unconscious level. It's going to be driving your behavior and making your decisions for you. But if you acknowledge the emotion and you name it, call it name it to tame it, it's an aspect of mindfulness, and you say, okay, I'm noticing I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling irritated, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling tired, fatigued, I'm feeling stressed, whatever it is, you're already beginning to take the power back from that emotion and not letting it have power over you and drive your behavior and drive you unconsciously. So you're actually owning it, right? You're owning that emotion, and now you can begin to let it process and move. And same thing with the thoughts. Once you acknowledge the thought, then you can take its power away and you can change it, replace it with a positive thought, and take ownership of your mind and of your thoughts, and deliberately choose to think what you want to think. But we all have negative thoughts, and one thing I want to say is that the human brain, if it's completely left alone to its own devices, then it tends to move into negatives. So like the energy, like if you don't grab it and take hold of it and own it and direct it and channel it, then it's going to naturally move towards the negative, and it's going to naturally gravitate in that negative pathway, in which basically you will inevitably end up at a negative outcome because of the fact that it's unconscious, right? So because most of our thoughts are negative unless we take ownership of our mind. The average person, 85% of our thoughts are negative thoughts. So that means we really have to maximize that 15%. And we have to learn how to change and transform that 85% as well. And you can do that. But it all starts with first acknowledging that you're having those negative thoughts. Otherwise, you can't do anything about them. So you acknowledge, you pause, you replace. And another thing you can do is you can reframe. So the power of reframing is really, really powerful, because you can reframe any situation to a positive thing. So let's say that you're in a situation where you do something where it causes you to make a mistake, and then you or fail at something you're trying to do, and then afterwards you're in the position to decide of how you want to look at that situation. It's in your perception. How you perceive that situation is going to be the meaning that you assign to it. So most people, when they come up against some sort of failure, or they make a mistake or whatever, they beat themselves up a lot. They feel they really allow that failure to discourage them, and they look at it as a negative thing. But if you reframe the situation, then any failure you can look at from a different lens of, what can I learn from this experience? What lessons, what hidden little gems and lessons are here in this failure, in this so-called failure, which I don't even believe in. It's first attempt in learning. That's what fail stands for to me. Or if you get a rejection, like, no, that's the next opportunity. But the point is that, so there's really no failure. It's just lessons. It's just learning. It's just the jewels of soaking up the wisdom, because you don't really learn. You won't really ever succeed if you don't allow yourself to take the risk of actually failing, really that's how you succeed. You fail, you fail, you fail, and then you succeed because you learn from the failures, and then you make adjustments, and then that's what allows you to succeed. So, and anybody who's truly successful knows that, whether it's in any particular field, industry, whatever it is, entrepreneurs, doesn't matter, athletes, whatever, like you have to fail a lot before you succeed. So it's all about reframing your perception of that failure into a positive. What are the lessons you can glean? What are the jewels and gems of wisdom you can derive from that experience that you could perceive as negative, but instead you're going to flip that script. And when you reframe it, you're reframing your thoughts, because your thoughts are going to determine your perception of that experience. And what that experience is going to do is also going to determine your perception of yourself, because you're gonna see that experience and whatever happened, a mistake you made, a failure you had, as a reflection of who you are. So then you're gonna feel like you're a failure because you're identified with that experience. But you can't do that. You've got to step back from the experience and just look at it as, this is a lesson to learn. There's positive things in this experience. I'm going to become a better person from this. Shit, I'm glad this happened to me, because now I'm going to learn some shit that I wouldn't have learned otherwise. That's what's going to allow me to get where I really want to go. So it's all about using these tools to reframe the negative into a positive, and flip the script on your thoughts from being negative to becoming literally positive thoughts. And you can take ownership of your mind and your thoughts anytime you want. It's just acknowledging it and then choosing to replace the negative with a positive and reframe the situation. All right. So that's pretty much, there's more to it for sure, but there was a lot there. So definitely watch this live stream again, because there's a lot of information there. A lot of value. What's good, Jose? And now we're going to get into the second half, which is about how to apply positive thinking when you approach women, right? Because that's the other side of this, is like not only how you just do this in life in general for your own personal development and well-being, but how do you apply this when it comes to the game, comes to dating women and relationships. So today we're not going to get all the way into all of it. I'm just going to talk about some simple ways you can apply it to your approaches when you're approaching girls. So, it's very simple, really, but it's very powerful. And a lot of times the problem is that when we go to approach girls and women, unless we're super in state or warmed up a lot, or we've been doing it a lot, and so it's just it's nothing to us. Even me sometimes, after a while, if I don't do it for a while, then I get a little rusty. And then on that first approach, I might have a little bit of approach anxiety. And I might forget to really flip the script on my thought process when I'm making that first approach. But, I've practiced a lot, so usually I am able to do this. And it's pretty simple. What you have to do is you just have to literally, before you walk up to that girl, you tell yourself something like, I'm going to make this girl's day. Like, she's going to be super juiced that I approached her. Like, she's going to be feeling lucky after I talk to her, right? That's offering value. That's that mindset of offering value. But another way that you can do it inside your own mind for your own self-perception, because that's more about what you're offering to the girl, which makes you feel like, okay, I have a reason to approach this girl because she's going to be better off. But another thing that you can do is you can say to yourself, like, some sort of self-affirmation that's positive, while you're literally about to walk or in the process of walking up to the girl. Something like, okay, you got this, she wants you, you are the shit. Or let me frame it like I'm talking to myself, like, I'm the shit, she wants me, right? Assuming attraction. And also things like, I am a powerful man, right? So imagine you're feeling kind of nervous, right? You're out there, you're about to approach a baddie, she's hella fine. You haven't approached a girl in like a week or two. It's your first approach, and you see her, and you start to feel a little nervous. You start to feel all that anxiety in your body. You start to feel like get up in your head, make excuses, think about what you're gonna say, think about like, oh shit, like, am I good enough for her? Is she gonna reject me? That kind of shit. So notice all those thoughts. You have to notice those thoughts. Look what I just said. Am I good enough for her? Is she gonna reject me? Will I know what to say or do, right? So you've got to reframe all of that, and you got to be like, all right, she's going to be super happy that I approached her. She's going to feel like she was lucky that a charming, you know, badass motherfucker like myself actually had the balls to walk up and give her the chance, you know what I'm saying? But you can also say things like I said, like literally saying to yourself, okay, I am a powerful man, right? As you're walking up, like, I am a powerful man, like, or anything of that nature, basically. So, again, notice the negative thoughts. That shit will run you and you will fuck up the approach because you didn't actually acknowledge the negative thoughts and replace them with positive thoughts, and you didn't reframe the situation from a negative into a positive, right? Another thing you can do is on that first approach, you see that girl, and instead of looking at it as this like big deal, be like, okay, this will just be a cool little warm up. I just got to get my juices, my energy flowing. So there's nothing on this. I'm not putting any, I don't have any attachment to this outcome, which you shouldn't with any approach, but you know, just really be like, okay, I'm just going to do this for fun. I'm just going to walk up and say hi, and look at it in that way of like, okay, there's not, this means nothing, right? This is just me practicing and warming up, right? And it doesn't matter if she's super fine, you think she's out of your league. The point is that you got to reframe the situation from being something scary and overwhelming to something that's just nothing, and it's just going to help you get to your goal. You frame it like, okay, this is going to help me get to my goal, right? So, so that's a couple little things you can do. And like I said, anything that resonates with you in terms of what you would want your thoughts to be, just say those things to yourself. You have to realize it in the moment when you're about to approach the girl. You have to realize it in that moment and stop yourself. And before you just walk up, you got to get yourself in that mindset by saying those positive things to yourself, noticing the negatives, replacing them, reframing them into positives, and then taking ownership of that process, right? It makes all the fucking difference in the whole world. That approach is going to go completely different, and you're going to do so much better. And this is what allows you to really build positive momentum, right? Because the other way, you're having all these negative thoughts and you're having all this negative anxiety and shit. And then that's going to cause you to do things really badly in that approach. And then you're going to get rejected, possibly in a way that makes you feel really bad. And then it's going to go down a negative spiral. And again, you shouldn't be afraid of the rejection and all that. It's fine anyway. And you may get rejected the other way too, and that's totally fine. But you want to stack the odds in your favor that things are gonna be positive. And again, you need to do that at every step. So even let's say you do get rejected, you got to make sure that as soon as that girl rejects you, that you reframe that situation into a positive. Like, oh, that was fun. Like, this is funny. This shit is funny. The way she responded was hella funny. You know, oh, cool. Now I feel like, all right, this ain't no big deal. I got to go approach another one right away. You know, so don't let it discourage you, and look at that as like, okay, that's a little stepping stone. Now I'm on to the next one. I'm feeling good, ready to go crush this shit, right? So that's basically the gist of it. Before I repeat myself too much, I think I'll end it there. But there's a lot in here, so go back, listen to it again from the beginning, all the different tools, strategies, and techniques of how to actually turn negative thoughts into positive thoughts, how to take ownership of your thoughts and of your mind, direct it, channel it where you want it to go, reframe situations from negative to positive, and apply all of this to your approaches with women. All right. So with that, Will Powers signing off till next time. Oh, by the way, actually, that was a lie. I'm not signing off yet. I also wanted to let y'all know, because I haven't even said this once in any of these live streams, I do offer full-scale private coaching. So, you know, regardless of where you're at in your journey, it doesn't matter. I can definitely help you. If you really want real results, because these live streams will definitely help you a lot. This group will help you a lot. There's a lot of value in here. And if you follow my YouTube videos and you subscribe to my channel, you follow my newsletter, you do all that. I'm also going to be, you know, I'm in the process right now of working on a digital course. And I'll be doing many digital courses, and there's going to be a lot of value in there as well. If you want the most results you'll ever get is if you work with me, you know, in person, one-on-one, you know, live coaching, or even online coaching. So I do offer that. So I just wanted to throw that out there to any of you who are actually trying to get some real results and ready to do what it takes. I do offer that option. So if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and send me a private message through Facebook, and we can see what's up. I do offer a free 30-minute consultation coaching call where we'll discuss your short and long-term goals and your sticking points. We get a lot of value from that call, and we can determine whether it's a good fit and go from there. So any of you who are actually serious and interested in actually getting real results, taking your shit to the next level, hit me up. We can schedule a free 30-minute consultation and get you crushing shit. All right. So, and like I said, I'll keep you updated on the digital programs as they develop and when I'm closer to releasing them. All right. Now I really am out this piece. Will Powers signing off. Peace.